Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity that is given to me. My name is Ningsih and I'm from English Education year 2019. First of all, let's say thank to the God who gave us blessing to us to conduct this proposal seminar today. So now I will present my research proposal entitled The Implementation of RADEC and self-discussion explain creating strategy in teaching English vocabulary mastery at SD Negeri Patung. Before I explain my proposal, I would like to thank my advisor, Dr. Gemini Nastiti Sakir SPD MPD, Muhammad Tahir SPD MPD and PD area, who have helped me in completing my research proposal, and also my examiner Samtidar SPD MPD Desol EDD and Asriati SPD MPD for attending my seminar proposal today. The table of contents consists of introduction, literature review, and research method. The introduction, background, problem statement, objective, and significance of the research. Introduction. As we know that English is an important language because it is a second language used in around of the world. So, apart from being used as the official language in some countries, the English language is also influential in some countries, with different cultures in some other countries. So, and then the important thing that must be learned is about vocabulary. Vocabulary is an important part of language. Vocabulary, but according to Hornby, 1984, this vocabulary cannot be separated from the four skills in language, like reading, writing, listening, and speaking. However, it should be noted that teaching vocabulary in English class is a difficulty. Therefore, English teacher must work hard to improve the students' vocabulary mastery. And one of the strategies that can be introduced by English teacher is RADEC strategy. RADEC strategy was developed by Spandi 2017. And with the aims of improving the quality of learning and encouraging students to master the required 21st century competencies and skills. So, and then this strategy has learning steps that can encourage students to learn actively and productively. So there are several previous findings. The first is Suhandi 2019. The second is the 2020, and the third is Suryanti 2016. So from the several previous findings, the researcher do not explain the RADEC strategy in teaching English, especially about vocabulary material for elementary school students. So therefore, my research focused on the implementation of RADEC strategy in elementary school students, especially about vocabulary mastery at SD Negeri Patung. Problem statement. Okay, the next problem statement. The problem statement in this research is: does the RADEC strategy affect in teaching English at SD Negeri Patung? Objective of the research. So the objective of this research is to find out how influence this RADEC strategy in SD Negeri Patung. The next is significance of the research. There are significance of the research, right? By using a new strategy that can motivate teachers to improve the quality of English teaching, namely the RADEC strategy. And then with the strategy used by the teacher in teaching English, making it easier for students to solve the question has been given. And then this research is expected to be a reference for teachers in solving problems in teaching English. And then RADEC strategy that can be used for learning strategy to determine the quality of students in understanding the material. Next is literature review. There consists of pertinent ideas and conceptual framework. Pertinent ideas, teacher as the main role in the field of education, of course, have the task of teaching. And in addition to teaching, teacher must also prepare appropriate strategy for their students because everyone has their own learning style. Next is the concept of English teacher. According to Jamara and Sain, 2015, teacher is someone who is experienced in their profession. English teacher are the teacher that teach the English language. And according to Licona 2012, attitude and responsibility are two basic moral values that must be taught in the school environment. And then the roles, according to Hubble 2015, the role is a dynamic aspect of the position or status that is on, which include the following teacher as learner, a facilitator, evaluator, and a manager. The next is the concept of teaching strategy. Strategy in teaching is one part of the learning system. The components of the learning system include objective, teachers, students, and teaching material and learning strategy. And the next is types. There are several types of learning strategy like a lecture strategy, demonstration strategy, discussion methods, learning strategy, and simulation strategy. The next is the concept of vocabulary. According to the Hornby 1995 state that vocabulary is number of words by their meaning and with the rules for combining they make up the language. The next, the concept of RADEC learning strategy. There are three, according to Supandi, the RADEC learning strategy is a learning strategy that can encourage students to develop 21st century skills and characteristics. RADEC learning always encourages students to be actively involved in their learning process. And the impact, the RADEC learning strategy has several advantages, according to the Spandi, that can encourage students to acquire 21st century skills. And the concept of RADEC learning strategy, the learning steps, the step can be seen from the abbreviation of the strategy, namely read, answer, discussion, explain, and critique. And then RADEC learning strategy is evident from previous studies which state that the steps of the RADEC model or strategy are easy to memorize and understand and can help students to build reading cultures, improve students, and so on. And the RADEC learning strategy syntax, the first is reading, answering, discussion, explaining, and critique. And then conceptual framework. In this study, in learning English, students will use the RADEC learning strategy, and the test will namely pre-test before using the RADEC learning strategy and post-test after using the RADEC learning strategy. And after the treatment, the researcher will analyze to know the learning strategy had an effect or not on the student's ability in learning English at SD Negeri Patung Kuda. So hypothesis, no RADEC strategy influences and H1 RADEC strategy does not influence. The next is research method. Research design. The type of research will used by researcher in this study is quantitative experimental with one group, class, post-test design, and there are three. The first is pre-test, treatment, and post-test. The next is research variable. There are two variables. The first independent variable and dependent variable. Next is definition of variable operational. The RADEC learning model in this study is to provide reading material to students. Then students are given questions related to the reading material. And the second is learning English in this study, especially about the vocabulary material. Source of data. There are two sources of data. The primary data is the English teacher in SD Negeri Patung Kedua, and the secondary data is about research journal, books, or previous findings. And research method, research subject. According to Arikunto, the state that the research subject are things, case, or people where the data for research variable was explored by the researcher. And then the subject of this research is English teacher, which are the teacher of SD Negeri Patung Kedua. And then research time, the research will start after the semester break. And research place, this research will conducted at UPTSB SD Negeri Patung Kedua Makassar, Jalan Inggang 2 nomor 2, Panampungan Mariso District, Makassar City, South Sulawesi. And the population of this research is students at UPTSB SD Negeri Patung Kedua. And the sample of this research is class 6B. There are consists of 20 students or sample. And because population of this study is quite so, the research use purposive sampling technique. We'll choose a class according to the criteria and objective of the researcher. And the next is the technique we'll use to collect data in this study is the test technique instrument, and the research instrument used in this study is test, pre-test, and post-test. And then the technique of data analysis. The data analysis process in this study use an inferential statistic, which will be analyzed with the help of the SPSS application. So, I think that's all for my explanation about my research proposal. I'm sorry if I make mistakes during this presentation. So, and then thank you very much for all the attention. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.